Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Brownie from the Young Zings. Today we're going over Burning Abyss deck profile. This is the deck I decided to play after the November 9th ban list, where they killed Shadal. I need something to play until they came out with Magicians on December 4th. I've been more invested in that deck. So this is kind of like my in-between deck, but I still had a lot of fun with it, tinkering around with it. So I'm just going to show you what I come up with after the fact, and I hope you guys like it. It'll still be pretty solid for next format, so in case you guys want to play this deck. Without further ado, let's move in. Obviously, we max out on all of the Duelist Alliance battle ranks. Skarm, Graf, Seer. Graf summons from deck, he was put to 1. Seer summons from the grave, he was put to 2. You almost get the sense that it was always intended for the deck to be played this way. The hits aren't that bad at all. They really, it just harms the dorkiness of the deck, and really its longevity and its ability just to grind super hard. But the hits are fine. But really, you do get the sense that like it was always intended to be this way. Also, it's nice that Graf can't be bondless, so it can't be banished as easily. But when it gets banished, it gets a little rough sometimes. For the Burning Abyss cards I play 2 Farfa, 1 Rubik, 1 Libic, Calcab. This is Cagna. I have a friend using Cagna right now. Alec, Barbar. You want to play as many different names as possible because you want to make Dante as fast as possible. A lot of the games you lose because you weren't able to make Dante. Playing a bunch of these different ones is pretty fine overall. I mean, none of these guys are really that terrible. I guess Alec is really the worst one. I almost want to play Dragkeek over him, but I've been playing Alec. Alec's good enough. At least he has some interaction with Backjack he'll get into later. But definitely playing a lot of names helped a lot with the consistency. Other monsters I play 2 Paracerberus and 1 Backjack. Again, I play Backjack. You can't play as you can't max out on them like you could last format because they took away Grafs and Seers, so you have to play less discard traps. That makes this card a lot more it makes it dead in hand a lot too often. So that's why I only opted for 1. I wanted to play the 1 so that way I could still mill it with Dante, and that's why I played Serapis. Because you can mill Dante, it's really clutch. It gets over stuff. It helps you deal with stuff that are bigger than Dante's attack, 2500, and it deals with problem cards like Floodgates and whatnot. And it's really good against bad players. It really just takes care of problem cards, and these cards are absolutely solid. 1 Tour Guides, I can't play 3. For consistency, I play 3 Upstarts. Moving on to the spells now. 3 Upstarts, you need to maximize the consistency because you really need to make Dante as soon as possible, because otherwise you're going to die. I kind of wanted to adopt this philosophy where I wanted to play as many cards as I could that were good to draw, but also good to mill. Not many cards are like that. The only 2 cards are like that are Burning Mist. In Burning Mist are Galaxy Cyclone and Breakthrough Scale, so I played both of those. 2 Galaxy Cyclone was perfect. Definitely, it's really powerful against really dorky back row decks. Really good against decks that play Floodgates. Really good against Pendulum decks. It's great to mill, great to draw. The card's absolutely fantastic overall. One of those foolish Raigeki Soul Charge. Probably the one that's out of the ordinary, I guess, is Soul Charge. Soul Charge is absolutely vital in this deck because it really helps just make really big boards out of nowhere. It's good backup play and it's good just push play. If you have a bunch of random Burning Abyss cards in grave, you can play Soul Charge and make a double, even God forbid, triple Dante. And really, it's sometimes hard enough for your opponent to deal with 1 Dante. Soul Charge lets you make 2 very, very easily, and it's really tough for your opponent to deal with. And it makes Fire Lake live. It makes it's absolutely fantastic. Every Burning Abyss deck needs to play this card this format. On to traps. 2 Fire Lake, 2 Traveler. I found this to be the best ratio in terms of not bricking. By playing triple Upstart and playing a lot of monsters, I wouldn't want to draw multiples of these. It's kind of rough. I want to play this deck largely because of these 2 cards, where I think Traveler is kind of like a Soul Charge, and Firelake just deals with Pendulum decks, any Pendulum deck under the sun, and it deals with really annoying decks like Yang Zing. Drawing multiples of these just really, really sucked. That's why I thought 2-2 ended up being the best ratio between these 2. And they're just fantastic cards in general, especially when you activate Firelake, tribute 2 guys, and you travel from them back, you win every time. It's absolutely absurd. Basically the biggest reason why I want to play this deck. Because of these 2 cards, deck is not dead at all. Discard traps. 2 Mind Crush, 2 Wing Blast. I know this isn't like an actual discard trap, but it's close enough. This is more of an anti-medical. This card destroys every deck out there. Destroys Cosmo, Pepe, Magispector. It was absolutely fantastic against all those decks. I'd probably bump it to 3 actually. Phoenix Swimming Glass is kind of it's the best discard trap because it's the most universal. You don't need any other ones. Karma Cut sucks against Pendulum decks sometimes because you can't do it on their scale. You can't, and you can't really use it on anything in Cosmo. This card's kind of good against Pendulum decks. You can kind of get rid of their scale without destroying them, so they don't go the extra deck. It's universal. This card's just good against everything in the meta. These are just meta checks. Great. Not as much stuff to discard since they got rid of Graph and Seer numbers, so that's why you play less discard traps. To break the skill, same thing. Galaxy Cyclone. This card's absolutely fantastic to draw. It really keeps you in, especially when your opponent like tries to deal with a Dante board. Your opponent's like, "Nah, I'm gonna break the skill that," and like they stop, and then you kill them next turn. Absolutely fantastic. Good to mill. Deals with problem cards like Abyss Dweller. Aside the third, great. One ofs, Horn of Heaven, Warning, Emptiness, Torrential. Probably the most interesting out of this bunch is the Horn of Heaven. What people don't know about the Horn of Heaven is that it's absolutely fantastic. It negates any summon by tributing a monster. It negates any summon by tributing a monster. That includes normal summon, flip summon, special summon, pendulum summon, exceed summon, free summon. I don't know, you name it. Any kind of summon you can destroy, negate and destroy by tributing a monster. And your Burning Mist monsters get their effects when you do that. Even like some of the bad ones, but like it's just really solid. It helps. It just negates and destroys a pendulum summon of any number, so it's really solid against pendulum decks. That's why I side two more. And it's great. It's great pretty much against everything. But I only main one because there are some decks where like it's just subpar. That's why maining one is enough where I have it against decks I need it, and it doesn't hurt me too much against decks it's not optimal against. And these cards are all just fantastic overall. MTS helps deal with floating decks because sometimes you don't want to go into extraneous measures in order to deal with them. Let's move on to the extra deck. Obviously, you play through Dante. No reason why you wouldn't play through Dante. 2 Virgil. You don't have to play 2 Virgil. I play 2 Downard. I'm actually still considering swapping a Virgil for a 3rd Downard, but they don't really come up that often. This guy, the 2nd Virgil doesn't really come up, but the 3rd Downard comes up less often. This is fine. This is good enough. I play 2 Nightmare Shark. Nightmare Shark steals games. People, for some reason, think Cosmo players think they're safe, and then you Nightmare Shark them and they die. It's really fun to just steal games with Nightmare Shark, especially the second one. People, for some reason, people think that once you use the one, you're not gonna have another. No, I got 2 Nightmare Shark. It's fantastic. One ofs, Equipped, Golem, Leviathan, Giga Brilliant, Utopic Future, Alucard. Just again, you're kind of limited in terms of the rank 3 engine. You can't really play like fantastic rank 4s like Castell because you need level 4s for this. So like when we were kind of talking about like what rank 3s do we play, like I don't know, there aren't that. I mean, you're not exactly littered with options, but I think these are probably the most universal. None of those like had much appeal for me. Now, I don't even think Fortune Tune was just so passive that it kind of made me cry. Mechrip is kind of better defense card. These are all fantastic. For side deck, side deck and side decks change over time. So again, if you're in like net deck, that's totally cool. If you do that, change your side deck depending on what format you're in. Formats change and evolve all the time. So I mean, I wouldn't go for this card for card, but this was just what I ran for the past month. For hand traps, 2 Maxi, 2 Ghost Ogre. Maxi's great against Cosmo. Well, it's okay against Cosmo. Great against Pepe. Great against decks that just like to throw a bunch of special summons. Good against Mirror. Rabbit destroys Magic Spectre. Destroys Pepe. Destroys a lot of really dumb decks. It's gonna be good against Magician too if you're playing this deck during that format. Fantastic. Card should not be. What was it like? I saw it like for 47 the other night. No, it should be 47. The card's too good. 2 Magic Fiend because this deck can abuse the Magic Fiend the most. 2 MST. 2 Horn of Heaven that I mentioned. Main 1, side 2. Stake because it hurts me not and kills decks that rely on it too much. This card poops on Tyrannite surprisingly. That's kind of a hard matchup sometimes. Then one of Skill Drain, Fiend Griefing, Breakthrough Skill. 3rd Breakthrough Skill, should the need arise. Skill Drain, should the need arise. This deck can withstand Skill Drain. Probably the main thing that's different is the Fiend Griefing. Fiend Griefing, I think some people forget that your side deck's not designed to completely just eradicate your opponent. It's just supposed to optimize your matchup. I found Fee Griffin to be a very solid side deck card because it sucks against the top 3 decks of the past format, whereas Mad Spectre, Pepe, Cosmo. It sucks against all 3 of those. It's only good against Pepe whenever they start Xyz summoning and detaching. By that point, like, you're probably going to die anyway if they were making Xyz monsters, because they're pretty good against your deck. Fiend Griefing was really good against Rogue and against decks that are not the top 3, and it helped with the consistency and also kill decks that use and abuse the graveyard. So it actually is a fantastic side deck card. I had a good experience with all of that. So yeah, that's my Burning Mist deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. I had a lot of fun with this deck this past format, but unfortunately, I'm going to probably be putting it down to play with Magician. I'll probably still be playing this deck online. Let me know what you guys think of the new format. I'm trying an IRL version of a deck profile. I have the cards, might as well do a deck profile of it. Let me know if you guys prefer this, prefer the doing it online on Doing Network, since it's quicker. You can just grab a screenshot and go. I don't know, I don't care. Whatever you think. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. I'll see you all next time.